Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. This is going to be the last one from the Geek Life on this series, and this one's Jefferson Airplane White Rabbit. So I got it ready to pull up. I have heard it, obviously. Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship. Was that it, or just Jefferson? Uh, in fact, when my daughter was born in 1981, her name we named her Tara, Tara, and they had Jefferson Starship. I think what they were going by in the 80s, early 80s, 80 and 79, 80, 81. Uh, had a song called Sarah. Sarah, stars are brewing in your eyes tonight, or something like that. And I had changed that. Uh, when I was rocking her, trying to get her to go to sleep, I had changed those words from Sarah to Tara, and fond memories. She had these blue eyes, such a small little thing, and she's still my 6 year old, even though she's got an adult daughter of her own today. To me, she's still 6 years old in my eye. So the Geek Life says he owns over 2,000 books, and in parentheses he says moving out of his 14th floor apartment was a pain in the butt. He said, my mother is a child and adolescent psychologist, and she says there is a measurable difference in children who were read or told stories by their parents and children who weren't. I used to babysit my nephew and sisters while my mom went to choir practice, and I'd tell them this long, fantastical story about a boy who goes on an adventure with his friends, two designated parking lot arguers. He said their job was to argue over a parking space at the mall. He said, and other types children encounter day to day. It was the highlight of my week, reading to these uh, his relatives. The teenager pretended not to care, but she always said just close enough to hear. He said, so yeah, feed your head. Uh, Wise words there, David. All right, y'all. So I've got Jefferson Airplane keyed up. Thank you for showing up. Let's get into White Rabbit from 1969, y'all. Woodstock. I don't know if it's got sound of this. Man, I gotta stop this because this is almost over. Let's talk about Gray Slick. So what I didn't know was that Grace Slick wrote this song before she was ever part of Jefferson Airplane. She was with a band called The Great Society, and this was the moment she became the first true female rock icon. I agree. Her vocal delivery is stone cold and authoritative, and does she doesn't sing as much as she proclaims. Yeah, and so they also talk about the rhythm of this song. It's the rhythm of the bolero, a Spanish bolero beat. Um, I really don't know what that is, but that's what this one is saying. And then the part of it is the Alice in Wonderland parallel. While the lyrics use Lewis Carroll's characters, the caterpillar, the red queen, the dormouse, the song was actually a shot at the hypocrisy of the 1950s and the 60s establishment. She once said it was all about how parents would read their children stories about mind altering adventures and then wonder why the generation grew up to experiment with the counterculture. You know what? I mean, if you think about it, that she's making a lot of sense there. Now, I was never brave enough to try any mind altering substances at all. Never. Even to this day, I'm very, very squeamish on whether I'll even take a pain pill because of all the stories of people getting hooked on pain pills. So I kind of gut it out, and then I've got a kind of a high tolerance for it, for pain anyway. Yeah, thankfully. But but yeah. So the truth is, Alice in Wonderland is this, you know, a mystical kind of way of looking at things. Yet your parents didn't want you to take any mind altering drugs to make you live within that mystic, the mystical reality that they were giving. I mean, it's just weird. And to also read about it was a hit at the 50s and 60s establishment. Man, can you believe this is 2026? Yeah, and we're looking at people that were talking about their establishment of their culture, just like people talk about the establishment today. So, and 50 years from now, guess what? The kids will be talking about the establishment of the culture that they're having to deal with at that time too. This is just a pretty bitchin' song, man, and she's always had this very, very strong projective voice, very, very clear, and like they said, uh, not as much as authoritative, but proclamation. She's just proclaiming, and yeah, pretty cool, man.
Is talking backwards, and the red queen's on with her head. Remember what the Dormouse said. Be your head, be your
And that's what the Geek Life or David. That's what he put at the end of what I just read y'all. Him telling these stories to his relatives about. At the end, he says, "So yeah, feed your head." So that brings it full circle. Thanks everybody for showing up. Thanks to the Geek Life that clears you out, and to the rest of y'all. Till I see you again, I'll catch you down the road. Bye, y'all.